At some point in your life, you believed someone was coming. Maybe it was a person, a partner who would finally understand you, a mentor who would see your potential and pull you up, a friend who would show up at exactly the right moment and change everything. Maybe it was a circumstance, the right opportunity, the perfect timing, the day things would finally click into place and life would start making sense. Maybe it was something vaguer than that, just a feeling, a quiet, persistent belief that the universe had a plan for you, and all you had to do was wait for it to arrive. I am not here to mock that belief. I understand it. Most of us grew up on stories where someone always came, where help always arrived, where the hero was rescued at the last moment by something outside of themselves. But I need to have an honest conversation with you today, because that story, as comforting as it is, may be the single most expensive belief you are carrying. No one is coming to save you, and the sooner you truly understand that, the sooner your real life begins. There is a place I want you to think about, not a physical place, a mental one. I call it the waiting room. The waiting room is where people go when they have dreams but not yet decisions, when they have desires but not yet discipline, when they know something needs to change, but they are still holding out hope that the change will come from somewhere outside of them. You know this place. You may be sitting in it right now. It looks like waiting for the right moment to start, waiting until you feel more ready, waiting until the kids are older, the debt is lower, the job is better, the fear is smaller. It looks like watching other people move forward and telling yourself their circumstances were different. Their path was easier. They had something you do not have. But here's the truth about the waiting room. Nobody ever calls your name. There is no appointment. There is no arrival. The waiting room does not graduate you into a better life. It just keeps you comfortable enough that you stop demanding one. And the cruelest part, the waiting room feels responsible. It feels like patience. It feels like you are being sensible, being careful, being realistic. But there is a thin and devastating line between patience and paralysis. And most people have been standing on the wrong side of it for years without knowing. Let's talk about the rescue, because it comes in many forms and they are all seductive. The first rescue is the person, the one who will love you so completely that you finally feel whole. The one whose belief in you will replace the belief you have not yet found in yourself. The one who will fix by their presence everything you have been unable to fix alone. That person does not exist. Not because love is not real, love is deeply real, but because no other human being can do for you what only you can do for yourself. Expecting someone to save you from yourself is not love. It is a transfer of responsibility, and it will destroy every relationship you place that weight on. The second rescue is timing, the idea that life has a correct sequence, that you must first arrive at some future version of your circumstances before you are qualified to begin. The idea that right now is not the right time, that next year, next month, next Monday will somehow be different. But time does not change the person who refuses to change inside it. Next year, you will still be you, just older and with less runway. The third rescue is luck, the break, the opportunity that will appear and eliminate the need for you to grind your way to where you want to be. And yes, luck exists. Opportunities are real, but luck is a visitor, not a resident. It knocks once. And if you have not been building the capacity to open the door, it walks away to someone who has. Every version of the rescue is a version of the same story. That something external will compensate for what you have not yet built internally. That story has never been true for anyone who ever built anything worth keeping. I want to ask you a question, and I want you to sit with it honestly. Where in your life are you still waiting? Not waiting in the obvious sense, not sitting idle, doing nothing. Most people who are waiting are actually very busy. They are working, moving, filling their days. But underneath all of that motion, there is a quiet suspension. A part of the life they truly want that they have quietly placed on hold, pending rescue. Maybe it is the business you have been thinking about for 3 years. The conversation you have been postponing because you are waiting for the other person to change first. The health you keep saying you will prioritize once things slow down. The version of yourself you have been meaning to become once the conditions are more favorable. Those conditions are not coming, The perfect circumstances do not exist. They have never existed for anyone who has done anything remarkable. Every person you have ever admired built what they built inside imperfect conditions, with incomplete information, and in the presence of real fear. The difference between them and the person still waiting is not talent, it is not advantage, it is not timing, it is the decision that no one is coming, and therefore I must go. Think about a ship sitting in a harbor. A ship in a harbor is safe. Nothing threatens it there. The water is calm, the anchor holds, the hull stays intact. By every measure of immediate comfort, the harbor is the better place to be. But a ship was not built for the harbor. A ship was built to cross open water, to move against wind and current, to navigate storms and arrive somewhere that the harbor crowd will never see. The harbor is the waiting room with better scenery, and the tragedy is not that you will be destroyed if you leave. The tragedy is that you will be diminished if you stay. Slowly, quietly, without a single dramatic moment to point to. Just the gradual rust of a vessel that was built to move, kept still by the weight of its own caution. You were built for open water. You were built for the crossing. Not the version of you that has everything figured out. The version of you that exists right now with every uncertainty still intact. That is the version that has to leave the harbor, because that is the only version available. The fully prepared version is not coming either. Here is what accepting this truth actually looks like in practice, because I do not want this to stay abstract. I want it to land somewhere real. It looks like stopping the audit of what life owes you. Yes, things were hard. Yes, some of it was unfair. Yes, you deserve better from people who failed you. All of that can be true, and it still cannot be the operating system you run your life on, because the audit never ends. There will always be evidence that life was harder for you than it should have been. Spending your energy collecting that evidence does not change the ledger. It just keeps you from writing new entries. It looks like ending the negotiation with yourself, the one where you agree to start as soon as one more thing falls into place. There is always one more thing. The negotiation is not a strategy. It is a stalling mechanism dressed in reasonable language. It looks like understanding that accountability is not a punishment. It is a promotion. The moment you stop assigning responsibility for your life to anything outside of yourself, other people, bad timing, difficult history, you become the most powerful person in your own story. Not because the obstacles disappear, but because you stop needing them to disappear before you move. Ownership is not comfortable, but it is the only thing that actually works. I know this sounds like a hard message, and in one sense it is, but I want you to feel what is underneath it, because underneath the hardness of this truth is something that most people never find, something that the people still waiting will never feel. Freedom, real freedom, not the freedom of no responsibilities, the freedom of total authorship, the freedom that comes from knowing that what happens next is genuinely, completely, uncomfortably up to you. When you stop waiting to be saved, you stop being at the mercy of whether salvation arrives. You stop monitoring the horizon for a ship that is not coming. You stop measuring your progress against a rescue that was never scheduled. And you start. You actually start. Not perfectly, not with full confidence, not with every question answered, but you start. And starting, however imperfectly, is the only act that separates the life you have from the life you want. Think about the people in your life who seem genuinely at peace, not the ones performing peace, the ones who actually carry it. I would be willing to bet that somewhere along the line, they made this same decision. Not in a dramatic moment. Quietly, privately, they stopped outsourcing their life and started owning it. And that decision changed the texture of everything that followed. That decision is available to you right now, not tomorrow, right now. So let me leave you with this. Stop waiting for the call that is not coming. Stop keeping your best self on hold for circumstances that will never be perfect. Stop handing the pen of your own life to people and systems and timing and luck and calling it hope, because it is not hope. Hope moves. Hope acts. Hope builds something in the direction of what it wants. What you have been doing is not hope. It is delay dressed up as patience. and you have given it enough of your years. The door you have been waiting for someone else to open, it opens from your side. It has always opened from your side. Every day you did not open, it was on a day you were unlucky. It was a day you chose not to reach for the handle. Reach for it now, not because the fear is gone. Reach for it with the fear still in your hands. Not because you are ready. Reach for it unready, unpolished, uncertain, and then become ready in the motion of it. Rise, own your life completely and without apology. Advance toward what you want with the full understanding that no one is coming, and you are entirely, powerfully, unstoppably enough. No one is coming to save you. You were always the one.